I have spent my entire life around genius. I have watched von Neumann do mathematics that did not seem human. I have seen Dirac hear things in the silence that the rest of us missed entirely. But I never met Tesla. He died in 1943, alone in a hotel room in New York, while I was working on the bomb. And I have always regretted it, because everything I have ever heard about how his mind worked does not match anything I have witnessed in any physicist, any mathematician, any genius I have ever known. Tesla did not calculate. He did not sketch. He did not build prototypes. He closed his eyes and he saw the machine. Complete. Functioning. Every gear, every coil, every wire, in 3 dimensions, running at full speed inside his mind. He was not in the room when lightning struck. He was the lightning. And I need to tell you his story, because this man was born during a thunderstorm, and the midwife said he would be a child of the storm. He grew up seeing blinding flashes of light that no doctor could explain. He solved the greatest engineering problem of his century in a park, while reciting poetry, without touching a single wire. He lit up the entire world. Edison betrayed him. The government seized his papers before his family even knew he was gone. And the man who could see machines that did not yet exist, the man who held lightning in his hands, died alone in a dark hotel room, with no one beside him. I want to tell you what he saw. I want to tell you what it cost him. And I want to tell you why the world still runs on a vision that appeared to a 25-year-old in a park at sunset. Nikola Tesla was born on July 10, 1856, in a small village called Smiljan, in what is now Croatia, during a thunderstorm. The midwife looked at the lightning and said the child would be a child of the storm. His mother, Juka, a woman who had never received formal education but could recite entire epic poems from memory and build household tools with her own hands, corrected her. No, he will be a child of light. To understand what Tesla became, you need to understand what was wrong with him first. As a child, he experienced uncontrollable flashes of light. Blinding, vivid visions appeared in front of his eyes without warning. Entire scenes, objects, landscapes, so real he could not tell them apart from the physical world. He would reach out to touch something that was not there. Doctors did not know what it was. His parents did not know what it was. Tesla himself called them a great discomfort and a source of anguish. But over time, he learned to control them. He taught himself to direct the visions, to shape them, to build things inside them. What started as a malfunction became the most powerful engineering tool any human being has ever possessed. And then there was his brother. Dane Tesla was older, considered the brilliant one in the family. When Nikola was about 5, Dane died in a horse riding accident. The golden child, gone. Nikola was the one who was left, the strange one, the one who saw things that were not there. Think about what that does to a child. You already feel like something is wrong with your mind. The visions will not stop. Your brother, the one everyone preferred, is dead. And now you have to become enough. Tesla buried it the way Dirac buried his childhood. Silently. Completely. And the energy that might have gone into grieving went somewhere else entirely. Into the visions. His father was an Orthodox priest, and he wanted Nikola to follow him into the clergy. Nikola wanted to study engineering, but his father refused. When he was 17, Tesla contracted cholera. He nearly died. He lay in bed for 9 months. During the worst of it, his father made a promise that if he survived, his father would send him to the best engineering school in the world. Nikola survived. Now let me tell you about the moment that changed the modern world, because what happened next should not be possible. By 1881, Tesla was in Budapest, 25 years old, obsessed with a single problem that no engineer alive could solve. The world ran on direct current, Edison's system. It was inefficient, dangerous, and it could only travel short distances before losing power. Everyone knew alternating current was theoretically better. The mathematics said it should work, but no one could build a motor that ran on it. Years of trying, laboratories full of equipment, teams of brilliant people. Nothing worked. Tesla worked on this the way I work on problems, obsessively. It consumed him so completely that he had a breakdown. His senses went haywire. He could hear a watch ticking 3 rooms away. The vibration of a carriage passing outside felt like an earthquake through his body. He recovered slowly, and one evening in 1882, he went for a walk in the Budapest city park with a friend named Antal Szigeti. The sun was setting. Tesla was reciting lines from Goethe's Faust from memory, the passage about the sun sinking but racing onward to bring light to new shores. And then it happened. He stopped mid-sentence. His eyes went somewhere else. Szigeti thought he was having a seizure. Tesla saw the motor, the complete alternating current motor. Not a sketch, not an idea. A fully functioning machine rotating in 3 dimensions inside his mind. Every coil, every magnetic field. The rotating field that no one had been able to build, spinning perfectly in front of him as if it had always existed, and he had simply turned his head at the right moment to notice it. He grabbed a stick and drew it in the dirt. Let me make sure you understand what just happened. Every engineer in the world had tried to solve this problem for years, with equipment, with teams, with millions of dollars. Tesla solved it in a park during a walk while reciting poetry, not through calculation, through vision. I have spent my career believing that physics is done with equations, that the path from problem to solution runs through mathematics, through careful reasoning, through writing things down and checking them against reality. Tesla's path ran through his eyes. He saw the answer the way I see a blackboard in front of me, complete, instantaneous, real. And the machine he saw in that park in Budapest is the machine that powers the entire modern world. Every electrical grid on this planet runs on Tesla's alternating current motor, not Edison's system. Tesla's born in a vision in a park at sunset. That is not how engineering works. I do not have a name for what that is. Now I need to tell you what happened when this man brought his vision to America, because the world does not reward people who see too far ahead. It uses them. In 1884, Tesla arrived in New York. He had 4 cents in his pocket and a letter of introduction to Thomas Edison. Edison hired him, and for a brief moment, the 2 greatest minds in electrical engineering worked in the same building. But they were opposites. Edison was brute force. Thousands of experiments, thousands of failures, until something worked. Tesla found the answer on the first try, in his head without touching a single wire. Edison gave Tesla a challenge: improve his direct current generators. Tesla later claimed Edison promised $50,000 if he succeeded. Tesla delivered. When he asked for the money, Edison laughed. Tesla, you do not understand our American humor. Tesla quit. And the man whose mind contained the blueprints for the modern world spent months digging ditches in New York City to survive. $2 a day. The most powerful engineering mind in human history. Digging holes in the ground because no one would believe what he saw. Think about that. Think about what it means to carry a vision of the future inside your head and have the world hand you a shovel. In 1888, George Westinghouse found him. He understood what Tesla had built. The war of currents began. Edison fought dirty. Public demonstrations where animals were electrocuted with alternating current. A campaign to make America associate Tesla's system with death. In 1893, Tesla and Westinghouse lit up the entire world's Columbian Exposition in Chicago. 100,000 incandescent lamps. The fairgrounds glowed white against the night sky. 27 million people came and saw the future. Alternating current won. Edison lost. The man who could see machines in his mind had been right all along. But winning did not protect him. It never does. Now let me tell you about the moment Tesla's visions crossed a line. Because everything I have told you so far, the motor, the alternating current system, those visions turned out to be correct. Every single time. But there is a boundary between vision and delusion, and I have spent my career thinking about where it is. In 1899, Tesla moved to Colorado Springs. He built a laboratory with a towering metal mast rising over 130 feet into the sky, and he began conducting experiments that terrified everyone within miles. He generated artificial lightning, bolts over 130 feet long. The thunder could be heard 15 miles away. He blew out the power generator for the entire city of Colorado Springs. He reported lighting 200 light bulbs from 25 miles away, without wires. I need you to understand the year, 1899. Most of America still used candles and gas lamps, and this man claimed to be transmitting electrical energy through the earth itself, lighting up bulbs that had no physical connection to any power source. This was not a fantasist. This was the same mind that had seen the alternating current motor in a park, the same visions, the same impossible clarity, and with the motor, with the alternating current system, reality had confirmed what Tesla had seen. And then he heard something. His equipment picked up regular, rhythmic signals, patterns that repeated. Tesla became convinced he had received communication from another planet, Mars. He announced this publicly. The scientific community laughed. The newspapers mocked him. Even people who had supported Tesla stepped back. Was he wrong? Almost certainly. The signals were natural, caused by electrical disturbances in the atmosphere. But here is what I cannot stop thinking about. This was a man whose visions had been right every single time. The motor, the alternating current system, the wireless transmission. Every time Tesla said he saw something no one else could see, he turned out to be correct. And then one time, he said he heard something no one else could hear, and the world decided he was insane. I think about that. I think about the line between vision and delusion, and how thin it is, and how the same mind that crosses it in one direction to find truth can cross it in the other direction and find only darkness. That is the thing about a mind like Tesla's. The same gift that lets you see what no one else can see is the same gift that can show you things that are not there. And you cannot tell the difference, because to you, it all looks equally real. What happened next is the part of this story I wish I did not have to tell. Because the man who held lightning was about to lose everything. In 1901, Tesla began his most ambitious project, Wardenclyffe Tower on Long Island, funded by J.P. Morgan. Morgan wanted a wireless communication system to compete with Marconi. But Tesla had a bigger vision. He wanted to transmit not just messages, but energy. Free power, sent through the earth to anyone who needed it. Morgan gave him $150,000. It was not enough. The tower grew more expensive than anyone anticipated. Tesla begged for more. Morgan refused. And then Guglielmo Marconi transmitted a radio signal across the Atlantic, using technology that relied on patents Tesla had filed years earlier. Morgan saw no reason to fund Tesla when Marconi had already delivered. The tower stood unfinished. Tesla's greatest dream did on Long Island. Here is what haunts me about this. Marconi won the Nobel Prize in 1909 for the radio. It took until 1943, the year Tesla died, for the Supreme Court to rule that Tesla's radio patents had priority. He was vindicated after he was dead. The years after Wardenclyffe were a slow collapse. The same mind that could see complete machines was now producing ideas no one could evaluate. Particle beam weapons, devices that could end all war. Some of these were visionary, some were delusional, and no one, not even Tesla, could tell which was which anymore. He moved from hotel to hotel. Unable to pay his bills, he would offer a box of his papers as collateral. Some of those boxes contained ideas worth millions. The hotels did not know that. By the 1930s, he was living in the Hotel New Yorker, room 3327. Alone. He spent his days feeding pigeons in Bryant Park, and he fell in love with one of them, a white pigeon that visited him every day. He later said, "I loved that pigeon the way a man loves a woman, and she loved me. When she came to my window, I knew my life had purpose. When the white pigeon died, Tesla said. Something went out of my life. I knew my life's work was finished. A man who could see complete machines in his mind, who had built the electrical grid that powered civilization, who had held lightning in his hands in Colorado, was sitting alone in a hotel room, grieving, a pigeon. The visions that had shown him the future had finally gone quiet. And when they stopped, there was nothing left. Nikola Tesla died on January 7th, 1943, alone in room 3327 of the Hotel New Yorker. He was 86 years old. A maid found him the next day after ignoring his standing "Do Not Disturb" sign. Within hours of the discovery, before his family had even been notified, agents from the Office of Alien Property arrived and seized everything. His papers, his notebooks, his files, boxes of documents, decades of ideas confiscated by the United States government before anyone could mourn him. They were afraid. The government was afraid of what Tesla had written down. A man they had ignored for 30 years. A man who had died penniless and alone suddenly mattered again the moment he could not speak for himself. I told you at the beginning that I never met him. I wish I had. Not to discuss physics, not to talk about electricity or motors or wireless transmission. I would have wanted to ask him one question. What does it look like when you close your eyes and the machine appears? What do you actually see? Because I have spent my entire career turning the invisible into the visible. That is what physics is. We take what cannot be seen, and we write equations that describe it, and then we build experiments that prove the equations are correct. Tesla skipped all of it. He saw the invisible directly. No equations, no experiments. Just the machine floating in front of him, as real as the chair you are sitting in right now. Every physicist I know, including me, needs the mathematics to see the truth. Tesla saw the truth first, and the mathematics had to catch up. I do not know what that is. I do not have a theory for it. I do not have an equation that explains how a human brain can do what his brain did. And maybe that is the point. Maybe some forms of genius are not meant to be explained. Maybe they are meant to be witnessed. The way you witness lightning. You do not ask lightning to justify itself. You do not demand that it show its work. You see it, and you know that something immense just happened, and you accept that you were lucky enough to be standing there when it struck. Tesla was not in the room when lightning struck. Tesla was the lightning, and the world that forgot him still runs on what he saw.